Now we're to that part where I get to introduce the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, the person who's really, besides Glenn and Brian, he grabbed this thing by the horns, as they say in Texas, and he and his wife Susan, our dear friends, we love them. We call them the grandma and grandpa of EXP. I don't know if we should say that, but no, she says no. Okay, I made that up. We don't call them that. We call them amazing human beings who I'm about to go to Europe with for a month, and they're going to make me carry their luggage or something for that comment. But they're our best buddies in Puerto Rico, and a lot of call Gene, we call him Big Daddy. 70,000 of you are in their organization, and they are amazing. I love them. Help me welcome to the stage the legend Gene Frederick, everybody!
Come on, sit down for a second. Here's what's going to happen today. Yeah, turn up the lights. You guys look good. Is this where you've been sitting the whole time? Holy cow, I didn't even see you. Grandma and Grandpa, was that nice, Susan? Wasn't that nice? Wasn't that nice? We're going to get them later. Okay, I want to chant. I'm developing a new chant today. Because when you guys have a really big aha, Randy, what I want you to do, all together, you're going to practice this. I know, Gino. Okay? It's short. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Let's practice. Ready? I know, Gino. One more time. Okay, good. Because I was going to do something else, but one of my buddies said, I said, what about say what, Gino? He goes, no, in Detroit, that means something else. Say what? So just put your cell phones away for at least 15 minutes for me, okay? I know, I've been watching you backstage. I see all of you. It's easy to check stuff. But I want to do a quiz. What's going to be the most productive 10 years of your life? Now, if you've seen me do this before, I've been doing it for about a month. I found this study in the USA. This is not done all over the world. In the USA. What are going to be the most 10 productive years of your life? Write it down. Watch this. No, backwards. How do you do backwards? There we go. Okay. Number 1, the most productive, write it down. 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. And I did this just for Michael Valdez. 100 to 110. Dude, I did. I did that for you, my friend. So in other words, what I want you guys to think, they did this study. This is in the USA. What's the most productive 10 years of your life? Write it down. Number 1, write it down. Write it down. Number 2, the second most productive 10 years of your life. Come on, David. Write it down. This is fun. This is very influential. Amanda, write this down. Amanda's like 30 years old. Amanda, when I met her, she was like 28. Okay. The most productive 10 years of your life. How many people wrote down 40 to 50? Raise your hand. Wrong. How many wrote down 30 to 40? Wrong. How many wrote down 50 to 60? Yeah. Put your hands down. You have no idea. Who wrote 60 to 70? Raise your hand. Okay, keep your hands up. Because these are the only ones that got number 1 right. No, keep your hands up. These are the only ones that get to ride on the boat. Number 2, the 2 most productive, 10 productive years of life are going to be what? Now, who with the hands up wrote 70 to 80? How many do we have left? The most productive 10 years of your life are going to be 60 to 70. The second most productive 10 years of your life are going to be 70 to 80. I'm in my frickin' prime. Dude, Shelly, I'm in my prime. Oh my God. Why? Why? Shout it out. Why do you think they're going to be the most productive 10 years of your life? What? Life experience, relationships, what else? Compound interest. Okay, that's enough. Somebody said everything is sagged. Everything is sagged. We're working on that. Here's what I think. When I read this a month ago, a lot of people have come up to me and said, Gene, I wish I was you. I said, no, you don't. You didn't want to meet me 25 years ago. I didn't have the experience I have now. I don't have the grace I have now. I don't have, I look at Glenn Stearns and and he goes, went through, my gosh, I want to know Glenn Stearns now. Right? I want to know, Brett Gove is not even in his prime. He's in his 50s. Do you understand? He's going to get better. Seriously. He's going to get more energy as he reaches his 60s to his 70s. It's really a myth. It's a myth that when you're 25 or 30, you have the most energy. You cannot outwork me and Brent. Just so you know. You can't outwork David Gagnon. I've seen him. You can't outwork the people that really know what to do, when to do it, how to do it in the shortest amount of time. Okay? Don't give up. Okay? Anybody know the definition between successful and great? By the way, you made it here. That's a success. Some of you graduated from high school. Good job. I'm not even going to college because I know half you guys are like, well, I went to school and then I met Kathy and I quit. That was Brent's thing. By the way, you will have a successful real estate career. Susan and I sold homes for a long time. We were raising 5 kids. We were successful. But I didn't understand great. Here's the definition of great. By the way, I'm just looking at 10% of you to become great. Why? Because that 80-20 rule will rule my life. So we're going to do 80-20 and then 80-20 on that. Luckily, 4 or 5% of you, I'm hoping you can become great. Write this down. You become great when your great-great-grandkids have your picture on their wall. It's real. You become great when you leave a legacy. And that's what I want to talk about today. Right? There's 1995. Who are the people on the left? That's when we were successful. 1995 headshot for our real estate career. Somebody put this Donnie Marie thing up, which I think it was funny. We were successful. We were the number 2 husband and wife team for Keller Williams. We sold at a very high level, but we didn't have a legacy. There's a difference. You guys have got to understand this. There's a difference between being successful, and I miss Susan's hair, by the way. That was awesome. That was 27 years ago. Okay, we're great now. Do you understand? They asked 90-year-olds, not quite Michael Valdez's age yet, but they asked 90-year-olds, what are the 3 things you regret? Guess what they said? Almost majority of the 90-year-olds. I regret number 1, not celebrating enough. Write that down. We're going to make real estate what? Dude, I'm all over this. Right? We're going to celebrate so much that you're not going to have that regret. Number 2, they asked 90-year-olds, I wish I would have risked more. Right? How many of your parents or grandparents had the same job for 40 years? Never took the risk. How many people in this audience are thinking about coming to EXP but are afraid of the risk. Just so you know, don't be afraid. You will regret it. Sorry, it's real, right? And number 3, 90-year-old said, I wish I would have left something behind. I wish I would have been Gene and Susan, because that picture is going to be up on their wall. 2, 3 generations from now, right, AJ? In other words, that's your whole goal in life, is to change, John, to change who your family's going to be so they can change other people, right? I mean, that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. Because quite honestly, I've been very successful in a lot of careers, but I want to be great. I want that picture going up. How many of you all have a picture of your great-great-grandparents in your home? 1, 2, very few, 3, right? I don't have one of mine. I don't know my great-great-grandparents because they didn't leave something behind. All right? Now, Susan and I have our Texas real estate license, and just so you know, I sold in this area. We sold in this area for 27 years, so I love coming back to DFW. And there's at the corner of Custer in Plano, Texas, where we raised our 5 kids, at the corner of Custer and Legacy, there's a small little cemetery. All right? And this small little cemetery, this isn't a picture of it, by the way. This is just something I got off the internet. I can use the internet. But it is small like this. And it's the, as you know, in Texas or anywhere, I'm sure anywhere out west, the richest people are the farmers, because they came out here in the 1800s, 1700s, and they stayed there, and then, of course, the suburbs came. And right there at the corner, I was with my 6-year-old daughter, and I noticed this little cemetery. It's about that big, and I said, I got to go in. And it's the Carpenter family. The Carpenters were famous. They owned a lot of land in Plano, Texas, and it was the Carpenters. So we looked at one gravestone, Carpenter. Carpenter, 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 Carpenter. And we get in the car, and my daughter, who's 6 years old, looks at me, and she goes, Dad? And I go, what? She goes, where's the realtor cemetery? If you don't adjust to this market and create legacy wealth, you'll be in the realtor cemetery. Right? She's now 37 years old. We went and saw her in Denver. She has 5 kids of her own. And I love telling that story because it brought it home to me that a 6-year-old just looks at reality and goes, boom. Are you guys, hey, anybody know the story of Noah? What was Noah preparing for? A flood. Why? It's coming. Just so you know, I've been through this with my 4th little shift. They keep calling it a shift, but I'm going to call it a downturn. Just so you know, you better prepare your ship. You better prepare your ship right now, right? If you don't know how to do short sales and the other stuff in your market or whatever, you're going to go, well, that's not coming back. Hello. Here comes the flood. All right? Historical growth rate. As you guys know, I used to be a bean counter, but I want you guys to feel where you're at. By the way, on that last one, when I went over that, what was my catchphrase for the day? Say it. You need to say something. You need to get going here. Here's our historical growth rate. Let's go over it. August 2019, 3 years ago. I know you guys can't count. That was 3 years ago. We had 20,000 agents in the whole company. 3 years later, 84,000. Woo! Now here's what I want you to feel, because a lot of people just think we're another real estate company. I can't stand reading all the periodicals. I can't stand it. I've quit reading all the junk from, I'm not going to mention the name of the periodicals, because they don't understand what's going on here. I haven't seen those numbers in their periodicals, right? And it's not just going 64,000 agents in 3 years, it's 64,000 Tina calls, 64,000 Orlandos. We have got the top producers, and they're coming. I want you to understand where you're at. I met Bill Gates. His name is Glenn Sanford. I met him 7.5 years ago. And if you didn't understand, I just met Bill Gates. He's going to start a revolution. I just met Michael Dell. His name is Glenn Sanford. You guys wonder why I knew it was going to work? Because, dude, that guy is a genius. Does that make sense? That guy knows what, and I met him and I went, boom, I don't know about you guys, but I went, okay, I want to hook my wagon to this guy. But the reason is because we have a different model. Quit comparing it to everything else. Stop it, right? This is a new model. It's historical. And we've got what? Momentum. What, momentum? What's your catchphrase? We got momentum. You got to feel it. You got to, this is something. I talk to agents all the time. They go, well, what's wrong with the stock? And I go, stop it. We got momentum like nobody's ever had in their lives. Historical growth rate. Historical. Never been done in the history of real estate. Start talking like that. Right? Let me talk to you about Bob Mangold. Let me talk to you about legacy. I knew Bob. Bob's an agent in Phoenix, Arizona. He used to own exit franchises. 6 years ago, he sold them all and came to a little company called EXP. 2 years after he had been with us, Bob Mangold, man, I read, he fell off a 30-foot ladder. I don't want to go into super detail, but he's in Phoenix. It was raining, which it never rains in Phoenix. So he went up there. He says, I'm afraid something's going to catch fire. Really, electrical fire. And he says, Gene, I slipped off a ladder. He fell flat on the ground, hit his head, broke his hip, broke his shoulder, broke his ribs, and had a head injury. Now he says, when I was in there and I had to learn how to walk again, I learned how to talk again. Bob says, Gene, I looked at my wife and I said, everything's okay. We got rev share. I just talked to Bob this week. I said, well, Bob, what were you making in rev share when you said that to your wife? He said, I was making about $15,000 to $17,000 a month. I told her, our bills are covered. It's okay. It might take me 6 months to a year to learn how to talk again. What other company has that safety net? Right? Today, 4 years later, I talked to Bob this week. I said, Bob, I'm going to tell your story, dude, because you affected me when it happened. He goes, Gene, well, I'm only making $70,000 a month now. Right? This is changing agents' lives. This is leaving a legacy for their family, leaving a legacy for their people. Now, one you might not know about. Just last week, Kevin Cottrell. You guys know my buddy Kevin, who's been my partner through all this the last 5-6 years. A week ago today, I'm talking to him in the morning. He goes, Gene, my left leg is giving me problems. It's a little numb. Meg, my wife, wants me to go to the hospital. They were in Orlando. They drive to the hospital, and they find out that he has an aneurysm in his hip, and it had developed a clot, luckily, and he should have been dead. And they go into an operation, and I know you guys know Kevin. You probably don't even know this story. I haven't shared it with a lot. But a week ago, I can't even pull it out to share with you. I'll start crying. But he says, at the operating table, Tuesday night, a week ago, the doctor says, you might want to say goodbye to Meg. Right? And he says, he says, right now, we don't have time. Say goodbye to Meg. And he says, Meg, I've never told you about RevShare. He literally said this. He says, call Gene and Susan. They'll have it all set up, and you will never want for anything the rest of your life. Isn't that beautiful? That was Tuesday. On Wednesday, the lead surgeon in the whole hospital came by to see Miracle Boy. He said, I'm literally wanting to meet the miracle person because you should not have survived that aneurysm. Literally, you should not have survived. He says, I've never seen anybody survive an aneurysm like that. Right? And I said, Kevin, if you're not religious now, you're going to be religious now. Right? Because got news for you. There's a reason Kevin survived, correct? Right? He gets a story to tell now. By the way, he's in a walker. If you don't know Kevin, he's in really good shape, but he's got to learn how to walk again. But he's not worried, Marguerite. He's not worried. Right? This is what EXP is about. You got it? What are you going to say? There you go. We could stop right here. How many stories do I have to tell? Seriously, how many stories do I have to tell that are going to make you cry? I usually use that when I'm on Zooms with people. I said, look, I can't explain to you, just like Orlando said in the last one. This is an environment I've never seen. This is where we share like I've never shared before. It's weird. It is really weird. Guys, I've been in a lot of real estate companies. This one's different. Okay, to create generational wealth, here's what I want you to do. You might want to take some notes. Find your purpose. Find your purpose. Guys, my purpose, and I didn't find it. I was successful because I was making money to raise my 5 kids. That's where a lot of you guys are. Well, I'm making money because I'm paying bills and blah, blah, blah. But when you find your purpose, what's my purpose? I'll tell you my purpose. I want every single one of you to have financial security for the rest of your life. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. I don't want 10% of you to do it. I don't want 20. I want every single one. Could you all stand up for a second? I feel like I'm in church. You know what I'm saying? Can I tell you all how much I love you? Can I tell? I want every single one of you to be a Bob Mangold, to be a Kevin Cottrell. I want every single one of you to really feel the fact that I am not quitting. Brent is not quitting. Till every single one of you leave something behind. What are you going to say? Sit on down. Thank you very much. Find your purpose. Find your purpose. It will drive you. Everybody's like, well, Gene, you don't have to be here on this Zoom. I said, excuse me? I want to be on this Zoom. Don't tell me what I can do and not do. Second thing, overcome your fears. Here's the biggest problem you have. For some reason, you won't talk to other agents. I don't know what the fear is. I can't describe it. I've heard it 2 million times. I can't talk. Gene, you don't understand. I don't do the production they do. You don't understand, Gene. They don't know me, blah, blah, blah. And the fear in your body causes you not to do what? Action. Overcome your fears. I could do a whole seminar on this, but quite honestly, it's all about you. This is about you guys. It's not about the model. It's not about blah, 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 blah. It's about you. Once you overcome your fears and find your purpose, you'll create generational wealth. Keys to greatness. Who wants to be great? Say yes. Yes. Okay. Don't you want to be great? Randy, don't you want to be great? Come on. Here's, you guys last year, write down specific, write this down, huge goals. Why specific? So you can track it. So you can track it. Because without tracking your goals, if they're not specific, you can't adjust. You know, I want to recruit 5 agents next month. Right? Okay, I did 3. Cool. All right, I'll try harder next month. You got to have specific goals. Guys, I've not met any of my goals. Let me talk about huge. I've never met a goal. Ever. Ever. They're so huge, it's just like, oh, I failed again. Good. Because if you want to recruit 20 agents in a month, and you recruit 5, okay, but if you want to recruit 5 and you recruit 3, how'd I do? I've never, by the way, I make goals for EXP all the time. Glenn doesn't know it. I just do it. Glenn's not here today, I found out. I'm going to say a lot of stuff. He'll be here any second. Oh, no. But seriously, It has to be specific. The more specific, when you aim at something, right? When you aim at something, if it's a huge goal, you'll do a different tract. If you aim down here, the tract is different. I want to sell 1 home a month. Really? Who has a goal of selling 1 home a month? What's that all about? Why would you even make that goal? Seriously, when I was brand new, I didn't write down 1, I wrote down 5, right? How many people have sold 18 buyers in a month by themselves? Gino, just so you know, I sold a lot of homes. Got news for you, man. I'm just telling you, I've succeeded, but I wasn't great. I've succeeded a lot, but I wasn't great. You know what? I'm dying. When I die, you're going to go to that coffin and you're going to go, damn, he's good looking. I'm going to die the best looking person I possibly can be. I'm going to be the best golfer I possibly could be. I've decided this the other day. And you're going to, and all my kids are going to be there. They're going to go, wow, he left this behind. Does that help you guys? Let me tell you a story. Anybody got a Kleenex? Little Gino's got a little drippage. Wait just a second, I got COVID drippage. No, I'm just kidding. Hi guys over here, how are you? I can't stand to stand on a stage. It just drives me crazy. Thank you, darling. Okay. I got to tell you the story. My dad, who passed away in 1996, his brother lived a lot longer than him. My brother, his uncle was my favorite uncle. And his name was Gene. It's amazing. Eugene Mark Frederick. I have 4 brothers. The 2 brothers that showed up at the funeral in Los Angeles was Eugene and my brother Mark. We were named after Uncle Mark. So we go to Uncle Mark's funeral. Now, guys, have you ever seen, what's that baseball movie, Field of Dreams? Seen Field of Dreams? Remember the last scene when the little girl says, I don't know why, but people are just going to come and give us money. We don't know why. And the cars just stream. Remember that scene? It's very emotional, right? And then, of course, Kevin Costner's playing catch with his dad, right? As the cars come. So I go to this funeral in L.A. He lived in L.A. since the 50s. He was up on that Johnny Carson's funeral home. What's the name of it? The cemetery. What was the name of the cemetery? Forest Lawn. He had the top doggone thing. He bought it in like 1950. So I show up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to tell you this. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I hadn't seen my aunt for probably 25 years. And my aunt meets me, and she goes, I don't think anybody's going to come. It's Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. She goes, I don't think anybody's going to come. He's 85 years old. Nobody's going to show up at 1 o'clock on we're just going to go bury him up there. Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. The cars start coming. The cars start coming. She goes, I can't believe this. There had to be 300-400 people at his gravesite to bury Uncle Mark. One guy stood up there, and he stood and he says, I met him in the hospital last week. He changed my life. Do you understand how much power you have as a human being? To at 85 years old, change somebody's life on your deathbed in the hospital? Become great. Don't become successful, David. Become great. I'm sorry. We can all become successful. At some point in time, we're going to. I just got to tell you that story because, it brought tears to my eyes. I'm going, these people are coming like Field of Dreams, and my aunt's like, I don't know who they are. Because he affected so many lives, right? Okay. God, that's a good story. Sorry about that. Thank you. Don't care what others think. This is a biggie. This is a biggie. You're going to run into it with your family. You're going to run into it with your spousal unit. You're going to run into it everybody. Because quite honestly, when you care what other people think, you're not going to come to EXP and succeed at a high level. The first 20 agents I talked to about EXP turned me down. Love them. But now about 18 of the 20 are here with us. 7 years later. It's going to happen, but I didn't care if they came right now, and I don't care what everybody, this is really, really important to greatness. This is the biggie. Write it down. Pray for abundance. You know what? You just don't pray that the house payment gets paid next month. No. Come on. You pray for abundance. Ask, and once you figure this out, you're going to ask a lot. You're going to pray for abundance. You're going to pray for so much goodness to come into your life. You don't pray for just, oh, I hope I make a sale next month. No, no, no. I want you to pray for abundance. And by the way, this is the biggest key I had to learn. Because quite honestly, just so you know, you're not doing this alone. If you think you're doing it alone, good luck. I feel that there's definitely something driving me, right? I think there's definitely something driving Bob Mangold. I think there's going to be definitely something driving Kevin Cottrell. It's going to be something bigger, right? Okay. Damn, am I good today or what? You guys are like quiet or something. Let's hear it one more. I love it. Okay. I'm going to end with this. My Flying Sophia story. If you haven't heard it, how many people here have a 2-year-old? Raise your hand. Either granddaughter or grandson, 2-year-old? Just a few of you. Are you guys procreating at all? There's only like 4 of you. But when you're 2 or 3 years old, Picasso said this. I went to Picasso, and we're going to go to Spain this Friday. But Picasso in Spain said, everybody can be a genius if they only find the child from within. Write that one down. Everybody in this room can become a genius if they find the child from within. What was he talking about? We all have genius. We just let the doggone world beat it out of us. So, my oldest granddaughter, which we just saw this last week, she was 2 years old. And we're in our bedroom, Susan and I, in Plano, Texas. She was living with us at the time. And she comes in, her name's Sophia. I call it my Flying Sophia. She comes into our bedroom. She says, Grandpa, I can fly. Now, I grew up with 4 brothers. And my daughter goes, oh no. Now, this is 17 years ago, so there wasn't film, there wasn't the iPhone. She had to run and get a camera. She knew what I was going to do. We had just made this bed with all the pillows. What is it with the women with the pillows? What is it with the pillows? What is it with you guys and the pillows? I have no idea, but let's put 8 pillows there. We had just made this bed. Susan, bought 8 more pillows. So I said, yes, Sophia, you can fly. She had a diaper on, no clothes. We used to call her baby with hair. Right? She had a helmet. There she goes. There she goes. There she goes, baby. Ow! There's Grandpa. And my daughter's going, it's almost hitting the top of the roof of the bedroom, right? And she hits. You know what she says? Wow. Grandpa, I can fly. And she goes, let's do it again. So for 4 hours, true story, 4 hours, by the way, 17 years ago, it was like yesterday to me. It's a memory I'll never forget. It's just ingrained in my mind because I'm going, when as human beings did you stop flying or think you could fly? When did you give up that ability to be a genius? Tell me. Probably when you went to Coldwell Banker. Glenn's not here yet, right? Glenn's not here? Are we okay? Susan's saying, I can't believe you said that. Well, here's the thing. I really believe you all can fly. I really do believe it. Right? But get rid of all that adulthood, all the things that your parents told you couldn't do, all the things that, just get rid of it. Stop it. Become a kid again. Put on a diaper. AJ's going to do it tonight. AJ and John, probably, I'll see them later. So we do this for 4 hours, and you know what little Sophia, 2 years old, says? Well, can Grandpa fly? Yeah, I flew that day. Guys, everything's about legacy. Everything's about legacy. You want to be remembered? Go create something that'll live past you. Go celebrate everything. Go risk everything. Don't be afraid to risk. Get out of your comfort zone. This is some of my family, not all my kids, but this is some of my family in our back patio in Puerto Rico, right? They come out twice a year and they just go crazy and we just have fun. But we're going to leave a legacy behind. I don't want you guys to just come and go, well, I'm going to sell more homes next year. Well, that was great. Thank you very much. You'll be successful, but you won't be great. God, Mikey, how are you, man? Good to see you, partner. So anyway, what I want to leave you guys with is a legacy. We're doing this for, the kids, our family. And everybody says, I'm doing it for my family. First of all, I want you to do it for you. I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it that you're going to be a changed person after you leave. And then you're going to say to everybody that you've met the next 2 days, when I saw Gene Frederick get up and talk, oh my God, it changed my life. Right? So let's give it up. What I want you guys to do is tomorrow morning, come prepared to learn how to produce more. In the afternoon, we'll do some more on how to attract people. But I want to tell you, just in leaving with you, practice flying for the rest of your life. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.